Harper Audio presents Say Yes to the Death, a Debutante Dropout Mystery by Susan McBride, performed by Amy McFadden. Prologue. Millicent Draper yawned and nudged her owl-like glasses back up the bridge of her nose, leaving a smudge of ivory fondant on the tortoiseshell frames. Her plastic-gloved fingers were smeared with the stuff. Her knuckles felt stiff, and she could barely keep her eyes open. She'd worked through the night on a wedding cake for Senator Vernon Ryan's daughter, Penny, and she hadn't slept a wink. Olivia La Belle, the bride's wedding planner, had phoned at 6 o'clock the night before, just as Millie was closing up shop, demanding an early delivery. "Sorry, Millie, but the ceremony's been pushed up a wee bit," Olivia had said in a honey-sweet twang that implied softness when Olivia was anything but. 4 whole months was a wee bit, Millie thought with a groan. "We must have the cake by 3 o'clock tomorrow, sharp," Olivia had insisted, her sugared drawl turning hard. "The ceremony's at 5, with a sit-down dinner reception to follow. If you don't get this done, it will make me very unhappy. Do you understand what I'm saying, sugar?" Oh yeah, sugar. Millie understood. Ticking off Big D's premier event planner was a big no-no. Olivia might as well have said, "If you don't get this done, you're as good as dead in this town." Ever since Olivia had done weddings for an Oscar winner and the spawn of a former president, her head had blown up as big as Texas. She'd become society's go-to girl, and not only for Dallas royalty, but honest-to-God foreign royalty and Hollywood's A-list. She'd even finagled her own reality TV show on a cheesy cable network and used it to promote herself and to punish those who displeased her. Anyone who dared defy the wedding bell risked hanging a going-out-of-business sign on the front door. Millie had seen it happen most recently to Jasper Pippin, a floral designer in Big D for decades. Fed up with Olivia's lies and demands, he'd finally drawn a line in the sand. "She lied her tight little ass off and said the tulips I had flown in from Amsterdam for the mayor's wife's birthday party were wilted," Jasper had told Millie, moaning. "She threatened a drubbing on her TV show if I didn't eat the cost. I'm going to lose my shirt if she keeps pulling these dirty tricks." "What will you do?" Millie asked him. Jasper had drawn in a deep breath and said, "I'm going to let her have it. I am not going to give in." So the always civil Jasper had finally squared his thin shoulders and stood up to Olivia, sure that other vendors who'd been jerked around would follow suit. Only no one dared, and Olivia had badmouthed him on her reality show. His orders dried up one by one until Jasper had to shutter his doors, claiming early retirement, though Millie knew better. He'd withdrawn, refusing to return her calls. She had no clue what he was up to, but she knew he wouldn't give up so easily. Millie hoped he would rise like the phoenix and stick it to Olivia somehow. That evil woman had her French manicured fingers in so many pies around Dallas that everyone who worked with her was scared to death. Even Olivia's current assistant seemed skittish, and with good reason, since the job seemed to involve a revolving door. The gangly 20-something, Tara, followed her everywhere, taking notes. She never seemed to say anything but, "Yes, Olivia," and "Of course, Olivia," like a well-trained parrot. Millie wished she'd had the gumption to tell Olivia that she could take this impossible cake deadline and stuff it. But she couldn't risk losing everything she'd worked so hard for. She'd started Millie's Cakes in her own kitchen 35 years ago and had built her impressive client list from scratch. She wasn't ready to give it all up because she'd ticked off the very fickle Ms. La Belle. Unlike Jasper, she had no intention of being forced into early retirement. Millie swallowed, glancing at the clock on the wall. With a noisy tick, tick, its hands crept toward 7. She only had 8 hours left and still had to attach the 200 handmade sugar orchids she'd painted a delicate shade of purple. Her feet ached from standing, and her arthritis was acting up so badly that her fingers felt like unbendable sticks.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?